to the Witchfinger Horror Podcast. Woo! Tonight, we embark on one of my favorite fucking slashers, and I'm very excited that we're finally doing this movie because ever since we started this podcast, this has been very high on my list of movies to do. So we are doing Sleepaway Camp! Formerly also known as Nightmare Vacation, but I don't know about you guys, but I didn't find any information as to why it was called that, why it changed to Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah, and
it's just out there for people to know.
Where maybe it might have ever been called Nightmare Vacation? Like, is that like the European name? Or
I think this is way better. Yeah, Nightmare Vacation. It sounds like a National Lampoon's.
National Lampoon's Nightmare Vacation.
I know. Yeah. Well, so I'll introduce ourselves in case this is the first time y'all have heard us. My name is Yasmina, and to my right is Morgan.
Hello.
To my left is Megan.
Hello.
And let's get this shit show on the road.
Woo!
So, okay. Well, I guess we should maybe do a little chit chat about what we've been doing for the past little while. I guess we got a little busy after the last episode, Night of the Creeps. And I want to talk a little bit about VHS Fest.
Ooh, yes. Let's discuss.
Okay, so
coffee talk.
I'm sure y'all heard of VHS Fest. Everybody who is on Instagram has heard of VHS Fest. It's in Pennsylvania. Lehighton.
Yeah, we found that out. We were calling it Leighton the whole time, and somebody that lived there was like, no, it's Lehighton.
Yeah, and we were like, oh, okay, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Lehighton.
We just followed the directions. We're like, let's just go to the motel and then go to the drive-in. So it takes place at the Mahoning Drive-In Theater. And
Mahoning!
Mahoning, eh? It sounds very Canadian, right?
They are super awesome. The Mahoning is I guess, getting a pretty big reputation for indie movie nights and showing lots of horror. They have awesome film festival weekends where they just do all vampire movies, and they show Near Dark and Lost Boys.
And this is only the second VHS Fest. They had the first one last year, and I remember seeing about it. And Pennsylvania, the city where we went, it's only about a 7-hour drive from where we are in London, Ontario. And it didn't really seem that far at all. It didn't seem like it took very long to get there whatsoever. And, I wanted to go last year really, really badly, but I was a student and I couldn't. And I was like, fuck that shit. I'm going next year. And so me and Morgan and our friend Jen, we drove down there, and we're so, basically the entire fucking weekend, we were so happy we
just
came.
Blown away.
We were just this is amazing. It's so great. It's just a community of all horror and VHS collectors all gathering together, drinking beer. You can camp there, you can tent, and then you watch the movies. They play 3 movies every night. And they
play VHS.
Even
project
the screen,
it.
Yeah, even the screen. When the movie was over, it was rewind and people were cheering. And,
they don't actually have a digital setup at this theater, so they literally have a VCR set up to project. So when they are playing all these movies, they are literally putting a tape in and projecting it.
It was amazing.
And
they had a DJ, they had a band play, and it was just so much fucking fun. And we came home with a lot of VHS.
Oh my God.
It was amazing, actually. When we crossed the border on the way back into Canada, the guy was like, anything to declare? We were like, we got a trunk full of VHS. And he was like, what'd you guys buy? E.T.? Yeah. And then when we were going into America, when we crossed in, they were like, where are you guys going? And we're like, we're going to a VHS festival. And he was like tapes?
But
it was so
He's
easy.
These losers definitely don't have drugs.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh my God, it was just it was so much fucking fun.
Yeah, the vibe is super cool there. It's definitely got a camping, outdoor festival kind of vibe. So they have the vendor sort of area where everybody's sort of set up, and then the drive-in is behind you, and then around 9 o'clock, they vend all afternoon. Inside and then out as well. They had about 30 different vendors, mostly tapes and stuff, mostly VHS. Some pretty rare titles too.
Yeah.
Robo Vampire was there.
Somebody was selling Robo Vampire for, and I understand it's worth it, but $100. That's the most expensive.
That was the most expensive tape, yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. And it was just like, it was amazing. It was just like a fun event with a bunch of our Instagram friends, like finally getting together to become like real friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was
like,
so
that's
cute.
basically what it was. And you know what fucking made it so much even better? Because the 4th of July had just recently happened, there was fireworks.
What?
You can see them like from afar, and it was like we're at a drive-in watching like Hack-O-Lantern, and there's like fireworks in the background.
God.
Like it was
That's
such
like a dream.
dude. It was amazing. Like honestly, like VHS Fest and Shockstock are like the best events like I've ever fucking been to.
Yeah.
I highly recommend everyone fucking come next year. Like it was awesome. I actually seriously think they should extend it. It should be 3 days.
Yeah. Yeah, I would totally be down with Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Even just for the Sunday to vend.
Yeah.
Like to still, buy stuff
Wait
or
a
whatever
second.
that day.
It wasn't on Sunday?
Nope,
No,
it was just Friday,
it was
Saturday.
just Friday and
Oh.
Saturday. 3 movies each night. But
Yep.
we're old and we
Surprising.
couldn't stay awake for the 3rd
Oh,
movie.
well, I mostly
I wouldn't have been
couldn't.
able to.
Yeah.
That's way
Yeah,
too late.
it's
literally the
late.
first movie halfway in, I was like, I'm just going to lay down in the back seat
Yeah.
and would fall asleep.
I was gonna say it'd be nice if you were like setting up camp, because then you could literally fall asleep watching movies.
A lot,
Yeah.
and like a lot of people
Yeah.
do, but like, fuck camping. I don't like camping.
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
Sleeping
fuck
on
that.
the hard ground.
Let's fucking stay in a motel. And we
Yeah.
actually stayed at the Mahoning Inn, which is literally down the road. It was perfect. It was
That's
just
crazy.
awesome. Like we're definitely
Oh.
going next year. It's gonna be amazing.
I'm going to start saving my money now, so
Yeah,
I
I know.
literally have like $500.
But you know what
to
though?
spend.
Like even though I
on
came
tapes.
home with like 54 VHS, I really didn't spend that much. Like I think I spent like on VHS a total of like maybe $125.
Yeah, I was about that
because
for me
it's all
too.
like a lot of people are like selling them for like $2 each or like $5 or
Free even.
or
There was like
5
a
for
bunch of stuff that was
20.
just like, take them, they're free.
Yeah. Like my friend Hayden, the guy who does Six Slice, who did the artwork for the
Right.
poster, he just fucking gave me a portable VCR. He was like, I just don't want to take it home. Do you want this? And I was like, heck yes, I'm gonna take
yeah.
this portable VCR. It's adorable. It's like giant, and the screen is like the size of a fucking iPhone.
Oh
Like,
my god.
It's so funny.
yeah, it was amazing. It's organized by the Mahoning and Lunch Meat VHS, and it's such a wonderful time. I'm definitely gonna go like every fucking year.
Yeah, it's awesome. Good community event. So
Yeah.
support your local like VHS people and support the horror community and the Mahoning Drive-In too. It's fucking
It's
awesome.
pretty sweet. But yeah, so okay. Sleepaway Camp. So we passed the beginning scene when they're on the boat,
Which
and,
has-
It's so annoying.
Makes
It's
me
the most annoying
so
scene.
many questions.
Like, I get that they're trying to portray that the people were in shock who were, like, watching it. Like, his buddy on shore was just kind of standing there. But that didn't need to be in the movie, that whole with the screaming girl.
Well, no. No,
but, like,
it does though, because they're it's hard to understand all of the different relationships between everyone in this movie, but at the beginning of that, I think they're trying to intimate that was their dad
Who died.
and who died,
Yeah.
but the guy on the shore,
and the kid and the son.
yeah, the son,
or
yeah,
whoever.
the guy on the shore was his lover, because further on in spoiler alert, further on into the movie they have a flashback.
Yeah, but what does that have to do with the girl screaming in the water, though?
Well,
that's what I was
She
saying.
was just a great
she's
actress.
annoying, yeah.
She was so
They were like, you need to yell as loud as you can.
And who is driving a boat? Because they had so much time to turn around and see that they were about to hit someone. Like, that was so... They should have made that shorter, because to me, I was just like... She literally had her head turned back for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So-
know.
And it's not
I
like they
know.
were even really drunk or anything. Like, they
Yeah,
were just like,
yeah.
we're just driving
Well,
in
it
a straight
was the
line.
80s, so I guess people like turned a blind eye to murder or accidents. I don't know. I know, right?
Yeah.
Well, so this movie came out in 1983, and so we just passed the scene with the ant, and I just gotta say that I can't believe that there is a Giphy of the ant on Instagram. Like, if you go in your stories and type in horror, there's like a bunch of new Giphies, and there's a fucking gif of the ant. Like, I can't believe that. That is insane. Aunt Martha is played by Desiree Gould, and I, a long time ago, used to think that she was a man.
I thought that as well. And you know what?
Because she's got man hands.
Yeah, the
that's
only
for
time
sure.
that I realized that she wasn't was doing research for this movie. I always thought that it was like an effeminate male
Do you know
actor
what's
that played her.
so funny that you guys say that is I didn't think she was a man, but before I knew any better, I assumed that she played Zelda in Pet Sematary
really?
because she has that bone structure,
Yeah.
that really fucked up
Very
bone
fucking
structure,
skinny and
who was
happy.
played by a man. So
Yeah.
now it kind of makes sense
I totally
that
thought
like
when I used to watch this when I was a kid, that's what I thought. Like I thought that she was the man from the beginning of the movie, but is just dressed in drag and is fucking psychotic. But
Yeah.
she's a woman.
if you're listening, like no offense.
But maybe they did that on purpose though, because the actor that sort of plays the man
I
that
feel
was
like
on the
they
boat
did it on
was
purpose to
very
fuck with
thin and sort of
people.
had the same sort of
Right.
look. So it's like maybe
I
they
think
did that
they
to
did it on
confuse
purpose
people.
to confuse people
Yeah.
because the whole thing about like the murder mystery, like the mystery of who the killer is in most of horror movies, is that they want to get people to be strayed
Yeah.
from who the real killer is, right? So I think they did that on purpose, definitely. But Desiree Gold, she's only acted in some like random stuff in the 2000s. She did a movie with Felissa, but she's a real estate now and
That's cool.
real estate agent, and she was also in the Sleepaway Camp reunion in 2001. There was like an event. It was like at a con, and there was like a reunion, and she was there, and she's in. There's 2 documentaries about Sleepaway Camp, and she's in the behind the scenes. And other than that, yeah, she's not an actress. She's just a real estate agent. But I was always
Strange.
confused when I was a kid because I always thought that she was one of the men, like from the beginning of the movie. But
Yeah.
she's not. She's like legit. Her aunt, like Angela's aunt and Ricky's mom. She's just fucking psycho.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Angela, Ricky. Oh, I believe there's a whole bag. Like that's some theater acting there.
But-
Well, I thought that
She's-
she was a theater actor too, but I didn't see
But
Yeah,
she
bitch,
tried
so
to turn.
passes.
Yeah.
She tried to turn the role down because of the lines.
right?
They told her to overact. She was instructed to overact like that
Yeah.
and say these bizarre lines. And
She nailed it,
She
though.
straight up was like, "I don't want to do this role. It's really fucked up." And they like basically begged her to stay
Oh.
and complete these lines because she tried. In one of the documentaries, she said she's like, "I didn't want to do it. I read the script and I was like, you guys, these lines are fucked." And they were like, you'll see what we're trying to do here. And she's like, and it turned out that they were trying to do something.
Yeah, and
So-
her character is
it's a
so
cult movie, so
yeah, like her character is just like so fucking psychotic. Like I love it at the same time because it's exactly what you remember. Like people obviously talk about the end, but then people also like talk about Aunt Martha.
oh,
Like,
and the
she's so
psycho,
fucking
the psycho
crazy.
mom. Yeah.
Yeah, like Angela. But yeah, Sleepaway Camp, IMDb gives it a 6.3. This is amazing,
pretty good.
in my opinion. Rotten Tomatoes gives it an 80%, which is
Yeah.
pretty fucking sweet. The budget was $350,000. Box office, fucking $11 million.
Yeah, like it
Killed
beat
it.
out
It killed
huge
it.
fucking movies
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah.
All over too.
Like, I'm pretty sure it beat a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. I just can't remember which one. Maybe the second or third one.
You know what? I have the info in here of what movies that it beat out, but hold on.
It
I
beat,
gotta
beat
see
out
it.
Yentl.
Yeah.
And the horror movie that it beat out was, it was Amityville 3D that it beat out that weekend.
Oh, okay. With Meg Ryan.
Amityville Horror 3D.
Actually,
and
I
Yentl,
I
yeah.
like the third. I like this. Most of the Amityville sequels. Like,
Yeah.
the new one with Ryan Reynolds, I saw in theaters, but I was drunk and I don't really remember it. But the
I
third
just
one,
remember him.
I just remember
chopping
yeah,
wood.
I just remember
That's
fucking
all you need to know.
Fucking damn fucking shorts.
Oh my god. No, I love this
Holy
guy. He's
fuck.
like the
Okay,
best.
this is
Look
like
at this fucking guy.
One of the counselors,
It's Paul D'Angelo.
Paul D'Angelo, Ronnie. Like, this fucking guy's those are not even shorts. Like, that's fucking, like, those are underwear.
The juxtaposition between his character, who is the sweetest character in the whole
Yeah,
movie.
and
like,
what
I'm
he
in
fucking
love
looks
with
like.
him.
Look at his
But
bulge.
he's a
Oh
monster!
my god, I love
He's
it.
a monster!
He's
He quite obviously
I
like
love
is a
his
bodybuilder. He works out. He
And he
looks
was
fucking
also
great.
in Return to Sleepaway Camp. He's like one of the main characters in Return to Sleepaway Camp. And I love that he wears like this like silver like tracksuit pants with like a black racer back, and he looks like the Good Life Fitness overlord patch.
No, he does
Yeah, did you watch
not.
Return to Sleepaway Camp?
No, I
one day?
didn't. I didn't get a
fuck,
chance
no,
to watch
if you
it.
watch it, it's a silly like fun movie, and like most of the cast like come back for it, but he looks like Patch, like the
That's
fucking
so
owner
funny.
of Good Life Fitness. The Sleepaway Camp was only filmed in 5 weeks. It was filmed at Camp Algonquin. It's near Summit Lake in Argyle, New York. And Robert Hiltzik, the director, attended this camp when he was a kid. So let's talk about Robert. He directed and wrote this movie. And this is the only movies that he's done because he's a lawyer.
Yeah.
You know what? I would love to, like, get into the headspace of, like, what compelled him to make this movie at this time. Like, in my research, there's not a lot of stuff about who he is, his personality, and because he only really did one movie, it's like, why did he want to do this? Like, why did he want to do this movie? Was he, like, creepy and wanted to be around kids? Or was he just, like, did he have this, like, crazy idea?
Maybe he just, like,
and just a lot of money? Maybe he's, like, really rich and he's just like, I want to do whatever.
But that was the thing, and this is why it's also so weird and kind of adds to the morbidity of it, is that this was all of his inheritance. His mom died, and the film was funded solely by his inheritance. So he thought to himself, I can either make this fucked up movie, or I could take all this money and buy a new house and invest. And I mean, $300,000 is a lot of fucking money,
especially in the
80s.
So instead of like buying these lavish things, he made this movie with this money. So that really gets you thinking, like, what was... He really wanted to make this fucking movie.
I really admire that, though, because I fucking love this movie. Like, it's a fantastic movie.
It is, and I really hope that he got his return on investment for it. I mean,
for sure.
It made $11 million.
Like $11 million. Like, that's just like the box office too. I love that he's a lawyer though, because did you guys see? Obviously, you saw what he looks like. He looks like he's been living on a boat for the past 20 years. Like, he totally does not look like a lawyer. He does not look like a lawyer. Like, he actually looks like he lives on a boat.
He might though. You never know. Like, just because you're a lawyer doesn't mean that you are like wearing a suit and stuff. I know some lawyers that smoke weed in their offices.
Yeah, I would assume that because he's a lawyer in New York City. So I
That's
just imagine
true.
like Fifth Avenue,
right?
Like fucking like
ow.
Yeah. But he came back to direct and wrote Return to Sleepaway Camp. Sleepaway Camp and Return to Sleepaway Camp are the only movies that he's done. So, and he dedicated Sleepaway Camp to his mother.
Oh, that's so
goddamn
wonderful.
right. She left him $300,000.
Yeah,
and
he
blew
made
it
a
on
fucking movie with
he blew
it.
it on a great
He didn't blow it on a movie.
It's a
That
fantastic
was a
movie.
joke.
I do fucking love this movie.
And it's just, I always wanted to, when doing research, I thought, don't forget to say this. For anyone out there who isn't aware of the facts behind the movie, he did not rip off Friday the 13th by any means.
Yes.
He wrote this movie when he was super young. He was 23 when he made it, and he wrote it way before that even. So he had this concept before Friday the 13th even really came out. So for all you haters out there, so all you haters out there who are going to be like, oh, it's a fucking camp killer, yada, yada, yada. This is
a great scene.
Oh yeah, we're at the scene with the fucking the diddler chef here.
What a fucking creep.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, this is, like, he's disgusting.
Yeah, I know. I love this scene though because it's like you could just you could push yourself back. Like, you could push on that shelf and just land on a child to save your ass. But what I really love about this scene, though, and they talk about it in the How Did This Get Made episode, is that, like, so he gets all burned and shit, and they're at a camp. They're, like, a few miles away from, like, any civilization, and by the time the ambulance gets there, he's all bandaged up, and he's still screaming. Like, he's sitting there screaming.
Literally
for so long.
Screaming, waiting for the fucking...
Although they do say burns are, like, the worst pain you'll ever feel in your life. But you think he'd go into shock and pass out or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
I love his pulsating boils, too.
But, like, the way that... he is. He's all bandaged up and he's still screaming. It's like, wow.
Must be really, really bad. Holy shit. I thought it was kind of weird that this movie made as much as it did, but going forward into the early 2000s, the director was, like, kind of surprised still that people cared. When
he was probably completely just like out of the game though, because he's like a lawyer, right? And, like, not part of like the film industry like whatsoever.
Yeah, like when the guy from SleepawayCampMovies.com, Jeff Hayes, contacted him to do some of the commentary, he was kind of just like, well, I had no idea that it gained such a cult following, and that was for like the 2004 Anchor Bay release or whatever. So I'm
assuming he probably didn't
shocked.
really keep in contact with Phyllis and the other people, because Phyllis is like continuously doing cons, like all the fucking time
for this role.
Yeah,
specifically.
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. So yeah, it's kind of strange, but maybe because he's just an older guy and he's a lawyer, he just kind of like did the movie, and around that time he made his money and then he went off and did his thing and didn't realize that like life kind of went on and people fucking love it.
I'm just surprised that because our people are so dedicated that he didn't have bags of mail.
Yeah.
Like, because typically when people are diehards, they will, like, write you letters.
Maybe
I've written
like,
a few letters myself.
Yeah.
Written, wrote, smoten. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess I just assume maybe he's all, like, privatized and no one knows where he lives and stuff. But
interesting. Well, maybe he was hard to find because he doesn't do a lot of... Like, because he's not involved in the film industry.
Right, it's hard to, like, stalk him. Yeah.
Yeah, because he didn't continue to make movies. He didn't continue to be a director. He just did this movie, and then he was like, well, I guess I'll go back to being a lawyer now.
Yeah,
and just completely out of the movie industry altogether.
I'm going to put diddlers in jail.
Yeah.
Like,
go get him.
Right? Like, totally weird.
Yeah. Well, some trivia about this movie. We're watching it on... I have the Anchor Bay DVD box set, the Survival Kit. I also have the media release on VHS, which is one of my most precious tapes because the media release is got the full letter on the back of the tape, because a lot of the re-releases on VHS and DVD, the letter like cuts off at the back to reveal like the credits and pictures and stuff, but mine has like the actual full letter from like a camp attendee or whatever, like writing a letter to his parents.
We should fucking read it.
Which is pretty cool. It says, "Dear Mom and Dad, you've got to get me out of here right away. There's a crazed killer on the loose and kids are being scared to death, and a girl was brutally stabbed while taking a shower and nobody is doing anything about it. Your peaceful, perfect place to meet girls has become a slaughtering ground for a bloodthirsty, murdering monster. Wait a minute, I think I hear someone coming up." And then it trails off, and then there's like some blood,
and there's dots of
I know,
blood.
I love it because it opens. You have to open it to get the tape out.
Oh, I
like
love
this,
that.
Yeah,
yeah, I know. I noticed that. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking sweet. But I also have so the Anchor Bay released it on DVD in 2000, and then they released the box set in 2002. So they released the Sleepaway Camp Survival Kit, but it was discontinued shortly after because it has a medical Red Cross on the front cover, and the Red Cross filed a complaint against Anchor Bay.
Ridiculous.
And so they had to change the cover. So the original cover has like a Red Cross on it, and it was only like maybe a few were made, and then they had to re-release it, and the re-release just has like the words Survival Kit, and that's the one that I have. Like, I don't have the one with the Red Cross.
Imagine how much that
but
tape
that
is.
is
worth
like,
a lot of money.
It's worth a lot of money. Like, a lot of people
fuck.
are like, the one with the Red Cross is like discontinued, and it's a big deal in like collector world. Scream Factory released it on Blu-ray in 2014, and it's a 2K scan of the original camera negative. It has the original uncut version, and the art is just fucking amazing.
Yeah.
The art on the Scream Factory Blu-rays, it was done by Nathan Thomas Miller, who has done like a bunch. Like, he did the Burning re-release. He did a really good.
You can tell.
Yeah. He did a really amazing fucking Terminator and Halloween 3 release as well. So we're at the baseball
I was about
game.
to say, we need to interject here for a second.
The outfit.
Look at his crop top. It's like not even a shirt.
It's not even a crop. It's just like he has underboob.
I was
like
gonna say, it's
literally,
like one of those
you can
shirts
see-
girls wear so their under titty hangs.
Like,
underboob.
seriously?
Which is gorgeous.
I can't. It's hard for me to accept that was fashionable for a man to wear that in the 80s, like,
And
just
that,
like
like,
Johnny Depp in like Nightmare on Elm Street.
It was
but at the same time,
manly.
but at the same time, I fucking love it. Like,
was so manly.
I love it. Like, his outfit is brilliant. It's amazing. If I saw a guy walking down the street now like that, I'd fucking high five that motherfucker.
I'd be like, hey, can we take a picture?
Yeah.
And like, he's
Can I
all
get
like
an autograph?
hairy, and I love that he's all hairy too.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
It's so fucking. Oh my god.
And
it's
again,
so
though,
amazing.
he's another really, really great guy in this movie. Like, he's another nice guy.
Yeah.
And it seems like the nice guys, like, they got the dicks out all the time.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Oh my God.
Well,
I
his shorts
fucking
are
love
not
it.
that short, but like
They're
the
tight.
crop top sort of makes up for it.
I love it. I absolutely fucking love
Like this
guys
other
wearing
guy
crop
here
tops.
with a gray shirt, his shorts are pretty short.
And he's wearing a crop, but it's not quite as high as
No.
the picture here.
It's kind of like this, like the crop that I would wear. You know, like
I just can't stop looking at it.
I
Like,
would-
it's like,
I don't think I would go as far as to go to do the underboob crop though.
yeah.
I like that guy. He's got like a, what is that? Like a fucking
It's like a
viper,
cobra.
a cobra.
Yeah, yeah.
Like a cobra on his shirt.
Oh my God, I fucking love that so much.
So we missed the scene. I wanted to mention the scene in the kitchen where Pervy McGee's getting all burnt and stuff.
Pervy McGee.
You're introduced to the other cook, who's James Earl Jones'
I know.
father.
I know.
Talks, and you're like, yeah.
You know what's crazy? I've seen this movie 100 times, and I did not know that was fucking James
I had
Earl
no
Jones'
idea.
dad.
And you see
No
him too, though, and
idea.
they have the same like mouth, like that
I know.
big mouth.
I have some
Yeah.
interesting an interesting thing about. So his name is Robert Earl Jones, and he was also a boxer, and he fucking fought Joe Louis. He was in a lot of movies, but he was in Sting, which is crazy. He was in Trading Places. He was the limo driver.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
I don't remember. I love that movie, but
Yeah,
I don't
he's the
remember him
limo
being
driver
in it.
/ like butler, and he's in Witness with Harrison Ford. He's in Maniac Cop 2. It is unfortunate that he did die of natural causes,
say, he's kinda
but
old,
at the
though, eh?
age of 96, though, he lived a
That's
very long. I
amazing.
just like.
I'm
I
sorry, did
can't-
you just tell me that can we like rewind a lot? Did you just tell me that he fought a man named Joe Louis?
Joe Louis, yeah, the fucking.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah.
Dude,
like
he's
I
like
don't. Joe
one of the
Louis?
most like famous boxers in the history
I don't
of
know
boxing.
boxing.
Yeah, but he's like because
I know Muhammad
Well,
Ali.
because he was
think.
African American, like he was one of the first like black men to like actually win like championships and stuff like that, and it was very controversial in like the 30s and 40s.
Well, fuck me.
Yeah, he's like, you know, the Joe Louis Arena in Detroit.
I knew that.
Oh, okay. Well, there's like a fucking statue of him in Detroit and like an
shit.
arena named after him. Like he was a
That's
huge
super
deal.
interesting.
Yeah, no, I know, and I thought that was pretty fucking cool. Like I was like, holy shit, he fucking fought Joe Louis. That's crazy.
That's fucking sweet.
Yeah. By the way, okay, so we're at the scene when they're at the dance, and I love Ricky's outfit.
His
It's like
cowboy hat?
The cowboy hat with like the Converse All-Star
Yeah.
shirt. I actually like when I used to watch this movie a lot when I was a kid, I've always wanted that Converse All-Star shirt. And they're always fighting. There's so much swearing and fighting in this
And
movie.
like the
Yeah.
old guy
Insane.
literally just stands there like this, like
Yeah, like I don't
Like
know.
one of the
Look
cooks.
at
Oh
this,
yeah,
like,
the owner. He's like, oh, I'm gonna hit that later.
He's got
Yeah.
his cigar and
He
stuff.
doesn't care. Fucking Mel, the owner guy. Like I like how he's like when the cook, what happens to the cook when he gets like the boiling water over him, he like pays off like
He's like,
the
"Don't
other
say
cooks. He's
nothing."
like,
Yeah.
you want a raise? Yeah, okay. Like there's no.
Yeah, he
need
just
to
like glosses
cause
over
panic.
everything. He's not like, oh my
No
god, there's
reason
been a
to-
tragedy. It's like, can you cook?
And then
Yeah.
the next one,
hired.
the next kill, he's like, it was an accident.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
like
I
yelling
know.
at them.
I'm
like,
gonna try
oh.
really hard to keep this camp alive. These murders are just no big deal. Just ignore them. Just ignore
Yeah.
them. Well, his name is Mike Kellen, and there's some interesting things about him as well. So the guy who plays Mel, he has over 100 acting credits.
That's amazing.
Here's a few things that he's been in. It's pretty actually awesome. He was in some Alfred Hitchcock Presents
That's
and
awesome.
Alfred
Yeah.
Hitchcock Hour.
Yeah.
He was in a Shirley Temple show, the Shirley Temple Storybook.
Damn.
He was in the Untouchables TV show with your boyfriend Morgan.
Robert Stack. What?
Yeah. I always forget that he was in that.
Yeah, that was-
I've never seen the TV show.
You know
I know.
what?
I'm sorry. I've only seen the movie.
I've never seen it, but when I've seen the episode in Unsolved Mysteries where he talks about Elliot Ness never finding that one serial killer guy, and in the
There's
original,
an Elliot Ness episode for every show.
yeah, and in the original showing of it, they actually showed a clip from the TV show, and it was funny because it was like, oh, I played Elliot Ness, blah blah
Yeah,
blah
yeah.
blah. But on the Prime stuff, they don't actually show the clip of the show.
Oh,
Yeah.
weird. I know there's a Supernatural episode on Elliot Ness, and I'm pretty sure there's an X-Files one too, but I might be wrong. But yeah, so Mike Kellen, who plays Mel, was also in The Twilight Zone, the original Lost in Space TV show.
He was in the Midnight Express, which is another movie I won't watch again.
Nice. I've never seen that.
It's like Broken Down Palace. It's like he tries to smuggle drugs and gets caught and thrown into a Turkish prison. It's one of those movies, like, watch it once, enjoy it,
don't
it's brilliant.
smuggle drugs, folks.
Yes.
Don't watch it again, though. It's awful.
He was in Rawhide with Clint Eastwood.
Sounds
Rawhide just
dirty.
reminds me of Blues Brothers, because that's the song that they always play in the bar, right? That's the theme song. The theme song for Rawhide.
The theme song. Okay, oh my god, we're pulling our dicks out.
All
oh
right.
my god.
All the boys are going skinny dipping
Woo!
together with no women. Okay, so Mike Kellen was also in God Told Me To, which is a Larry Cohen movie.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who did The Stuff and It's Alive and Q.
Yeah, the Winged Serpent.
And you know what's funny? I was watching something on the Shout Factory channel, and it ended, and then it started playing the next movie, and the next movie was Q, the Winged Serpent,
God.
but with commentary. And I was sitting there, like, I fell asleep, and I woke up to Larry Cohen's voice talking over Q, and he's saying, "Hello, my name is Larry Cohen, and I have no idea what I'm doing or talking about." I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna have to watch this with commentary sometime."
Sure.
Like, he sounds hilarious. But something really crazy about Mike Kellen. I was doing some research. His sister, she died in the Hartford Circus fire. Okay, so the Hartford Circus fire was the worst fire disaster in the history of the United States.
Jesus
Christ.
Christ.
It happened during. You guys remember the Ringling Brothers? Like, they're like the famous Ringling Brothers. It happened during one of their performances, and it killed 167 people and injured over 700 people. And it happened in 1944.
How many fucking people were at this damn circus?
I know. Well, I guess in the 40s, the circus
that
was
was
the place
like
to be.
There was not much else
I
to
know,
do.
but
guess,
isn't that
yeah.
crazy? His sister was one of the 167 people that died in that fucking worst fire in the history of the United States. Like, that's
Unbelievable.
insane.
Yeah.
Another wild thing about him was that he was lieutenant commander in the Navy during World War II. After the war was over, that's when he pursued acting.
Wow.
But
Fantastic.
sad, he died of lung cancer 3 months before Sleepaway Camp came out, so he wasn't even able to see the movie. And apparently he was like sick during the filming, but he hid it and he kept it from everybody because he didn't want to distract anyone.
That's so
like
sad.
so humble, like. Oh, I know. He did a good job at acting in this movie.
Yeah,
for
no,
sure.
he's actually
he's like
one
the
of the
part where
better
he's like
actors.
shaking Ricky.
Yeah.
I like that part when he's like shaking him and like fucking like hitting him. He's just like, he's like, oh my god, there's someone on the boat. Somebody help them. I love that girl.
Oh my
at the beginning
god,
of the
those
movie.
tighty whities.
Oh,
The
more
Florida crop
tops.
top.
I know.
Yeah.
You know what else I love
Orange
about
one.
the guys wearing the crop tops is that when it shows their abs, like their obliques.
Stop.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I love how every time the killer shows up, it's like, oh, it's you.
It's like they're so disappointed.
Yeah.
They're like, oh,
It's
what
you.
do you want? It's you. Well, filming was behind schedule, and the storyboards were finished, but then they were thrown out. They
Isn't
were
that
never used
fucked?
because they didn't have time, and shooting brought them into the fall, so they had to fucking spray
paint.
Oh yeah.
They had to spray paint the leaves and grass green to make it look like summer.
I
Well,
could
they did a
imagine.
good job. Like
Yeah,
No, but
know.
like, think about it. When you have a $350,000 budget, do you really want to be paying people to spray paint leaves all day? Or spray paint the grass? Like, it could have gone to other things, probably. But that's...
Yeah, I'm sure they did it. You know, if that were me, if I were the fucking director, producer, writer, I'd be like, hey, actors who aren't fucking doing anything in this moment, get a can of spray paint and fucking go
Yeah,
to
that's
it.
true.
I'm
I
paying
know,
you
yeah.
anyways.
Child labor.
Because a lot of it, like, is them just sitting around waiting for
Yeah.
their scenes to be shot, so they just sit there and, like...
Yeah,
fart around.
in some of the farther scenes, you actually can see that the leaves are turning. Like this scene right here.
When this guy's, like, so
yeah,
angry
he's, like,
and getting the chairs out
He's
of the
throwing
water.
the chairs.
Everyone is so mad in this movie. Oh, it's a body.
Oh, and there's a snake coming out.
I know, and, like, I love how decomposed the body is after one night of being in the water.
Although they say that, like, the critters will get you pretty quick. Like, it's not decomposition, it's more like
Yeah.
you've
That
been
snake was
picked apart.
definitely eating
Yeah.
that poor kid's face.
Oh,
the
fucking...
socks. Oh, so old Mustache McGee here.
Oh yeah, so this guy is pretty funny, the cop, because later on he comes back and apparently the scene that he did later on as well, when he comes back, was a reshoot, and he'd shaved his mustache, so they just put a fake one on.
They rotored that shit. There's a scene in Rotor when like there's one guy that has like a painted on goatee.
It's like, why?
Oh
what does it matter? Why does he need a
know.
goatee to look badass? It doesn't matter, but it's quite obvious. It's fucking like literally just.
It's like Velcroed on. Oh, in this movie,
in this movie, it's actually like a fake mustache, but in Rotor, it's paint.
It's so obvious.
It's paint.
I love it. I just like realized that Felicia's character in Return to Sleepaway Camp looks exactly like this cop.
Oh,
like her character. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Is a male cop with a mustache and like a voice box, and it looks exactly like this cop.
Weird.
That's funny.
Maybe that's what
Which
they
is
were
funny
going
because
for.
they have a male cop with a voice box in this movie.
Yeah. I love Ronnie. Can we just look at this tiny shorts?
He's such a good guy.
Oh my
I
god.
love
I love
Ronnie.
him. I love him.
Speaking of tiny shorts, my favorite quote that I found was in fact not a quote from the movie, but Jonathan in one of the documentaries said, he's like, we didn't know what we were doing most of the time. We were so young. He's like, so this is what I thought. You show up, put on the short shorts, and hope for the best.
Yes.
That is Sleepaway Camp.
God, thank you,
in a nutshell.
Kirsten. Oh my god, that's fucking amazing.
You show up and you put on short shorts.
Yeah.
For the best.
Also, the scene that just happened, like there was the paramedics, like those were real paramedics as well. The Hudson Falls police let them use real police uniforms.
Which is
just
just
awesome.
so stoked to help.
But they let them fucking wear the uniforms with loaded guns.
Whoa.
Wow.
Early 80s, I love you.
I know, right? I was gonna say, because like they have like weapons check people. Nope, not in the 80s. Like, they were like, here you go, you can wear my uniform. And the guy's like, what about the gun? Like, I need the gun. Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Is there
here you
bullets
go.
in it? Yeah, it's fine. No big deal.
It's fine.
Slow to just don't pull it out.
Just walking around spinning it on their finger.
I know. Okay, so we're at the part where they're playing the volleyball game, and I gotta say, Judy rules. Judy is such a fucking bitch.
What a bitch.
She is
Huge
such a
bitch.
fucking... I love that she's wearing a fucking shirt
that has her fucking name on it.
I want one.
Seriously, I would wear that shirt. I love it. It's amazing. Like, apparently... Okay, her name is Karen Fields. Apparently, there was a shot of her dead in this movie that was cut by the MPAA because she gets like the curling iron.
Yeah.
Which I also find funny that she dies from that because like really you can't.
I don't think you would
die from that.
No.
Like you just like
You'd be
get,
horrably
It would
maimed.
take
I mean,
months
like you would just
if you
have
had an
like a burned
infection.
Yeah.
vagina.
If it got infected,
oh, that's true. You're right.
But it wouldn't happen overnight.
No,
That infection
it wouldn't
have
happen
to,
right
like,
away.
I know.
Yeah.
I find that hilarious that she died that way because it's like I don't think that would kill you. Like it would just burn the inside of your vagina.
Yeah, you'd just be
walls, but, like,
horribly maimed
I know.
forever.
Yeah, but yeah. So there was a shot of her probably like with like the curling iron like sticking out of her pussy and. Obviously, they
Jesus
cut
Christ.
that. It's just like, actually, it reminds me of Friday 13th Part 5. Violet, the goth girl, there was a scene that they shot that was never released, and Jason stabs her in the fucking cunt. And there's a photo of it. There's a picture of it online, but there's like...
That's a lot.
But they
We should post that tomorrow.
I think they completely like burned the negatives. Like it's like nowhere to be found.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Especially because Jason is such like a funny franchise. Let's be honest, it's a funny franchise. People like
But
that.
she's like a
that's
teenager
upsetting.
And
like
yeah.
that's an upsetting
Yeah.
I thought it was
thing.
pretty cool.
And Jason
it's
hates
so
everyone.
upsetting.
He hates everyone equally. It's not like he's like
Yeah.
a fucking woman hater and he
you got
stabs
hate in your heart,
vaginas for
let
like
it out.
all the time. Yeah, you got hate in your heart, let it
Let it
out.
out.
That's the pimp ball, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The
Player haters ball.
Player haters ball. Rosie O'Donnell's got like underwear with dick holes in them. Also, I love that this guy's wearing an Asia shirt.
Yeah, he was
That's
wearing
amazing.
a Blue Oyster Cult shirt earlier in the
Nice.
scene where him and Ricky fight.
Yeah.
He's wearing a Blue Oyster Cult.
So Jeff Hayes, who runs the Sleepaway Camp like fan website, he contacted Karen Fields and because she's not an actress as well, and he contacted her and asked her if she would star in his short called Judy. And that and Sleepaway Camp are the only 2 things that she's acted in. So
Wow.
she's not like a professional actress or anything, but like that's not her career.
So her bitchiness is just like
But
her.
she's so good. I know. She's so fucking good in this, though. Like, I can't believe how good of a bitch she is in this movie. But I watched the short, and it's like, I mean, like, it's an independently made, like, 15-minute
So it definitely has
short.
that feel.
It's like, it kind of reminded me of Partners.
Yeah, oh god.
What's Partners? What's Partners?
Well, just look it up. And
Okay.
maybe you should watch the Red Letter Media episode on Partners, and then you'll get an idea of what. But Judy's on YouTube. It's only about like 15 minutes, and she uses a curling iron in it as a weapon. But apparently, Judy was supposed to be played by Jane Krakowski, the blonde woman
That's
from
crazy.
30 Rock.
Which is so,
Yeah, because like
so
Robert
funny.
wanted a blonde to be cast
And I
as
could
the
also
bitch.
see her
I
being
could totally
really
picture
good.
her, yeah.
Yeah, I know. She's got that like very like she's got pointy
Mousy.
features.
She's
so
like,
mousy.
Yeah, but she's done some like off-Broadway theater and voice acting. She did the voice of some of Bart's friends in season 1 of The Simpsons.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. But she's just a long-distance runner. She does marathons in New York City. That's the
Cool.
only, and you can tell in the Judy short that she's fit as fuck.
Yeah.
Like
Good for
she's
her.
toned. She's toned as fuck.
I was going to say, because runners typically aren't muscle heavy, though.
No, but if you're running marathons, like you just like the fat just dissolves.
Yeah,
off your
yeah,
body.
yeah,
Like, you have a
it's
hard
true.
time even
Yeah.
keeping weight on.
Yeah, like have you ever seen like sprinters' calves?
Yeah, they're tiny.
yeah.
They're tiny people, though. Like,
Yeah.
they're typically tiny people.
Yeah. But yeah, she's great. I love Judy. Judy's such a bitch. She's awesome. Well, this guy, Paul, his name is Christopher Collette. And so Paul is the one that has a little crush on Angela. And I love how, like, Angela, like, she's a mute. She doesn't talk to anybody. But whenever Paul comes around, she's, like, completely normal.
Yeah.
Like, she's completely, like, hey, how's
And her
it
voice
going?
is so cute.
Yeah.
And, like, she's just completely normal when he comes around. But he was in the Manhattan Project
That's cool.
with
Yeah,
John
I saw
Lithgow,
that, yeah.
and we saw it at VHS
Yes,
Fest,
we
and I was
did.
like, "This is the movie that Paul guy is in." And he did a lot of TV. Like he was in MacGyver, The Langoliers. The Langoliers fucked with my head when I watched it when I was a kid.
Stupidest thing.
The only thing that I really actually remember from The Langoliers is that when they're in, like, I don't know if you call it, like, was it a parallel universe or something?
Yeah.
When they tried to eat the tuna sandwich and it was, like, gross. If I was in that situation, I'd be like, bitch, I'm hungry. I'm gonna fucking eat this anyways.
That's an interesting thing
That's
to
the
remember from
only
the
thing that I remember from that movie. But he also does voice acting. Like, he was in a bunch of anime, like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! He was in, like, a Sonic X, like, G.I. Joe cartoon. And now runs a Pilates studio with his wife.
So precious.
And his wife is also an actress. And this is interesting. He was very good friends with Corey Haim, and he was one of the pallbearers at his funeral.
Interesting.
In
Was he?
Vaughan, Ontario.
I was gonna say, was he Canadian or?
I don't know. But he was in a movie with Corey Haim when Corey Haim was, like, when they were really, really young. And, he was a pallbearer
Wow.
at his funeral, which was crazy. I know.
sad.
We saw Corey Haim's grave.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Remember when we
just a
we
couple
went
hours
that?
away from London.
Yeah, it's actually shocking how much there were still like tons of flowers and little trinkets and stuff. People still go.
Someone
They
put a
love
silver
him.
bullet. Someone put a silver bullet on it.
They love him.
Oh my god, Judy, you're such a bitch. She's got no hair down. Even her face, like her fucking, like, scowl. She has a scowl.
Hearing that, like, Felissa brought her entire 8th grade class to watch this movie when it came out, when you first hear that, you're like, oh, that's nice. Like, she brought her friends. And then you watch the movie and listen to the script. And, like, the creepy part with the, like, almost molestation would be really awkward when you're in 8th grade to watch. Her talking about pubic hair in 8th grade would be
Yeah.
so awkward
Yeah.
to watch with all of your peers, because that's when your body's changing. And
I
like,
know.
So
I
the
love
fact
the,
that she just brought her whole class to
And
the
not to
opening
mention the
is,
big
like,
reveal at the end,
And the
too.
big
That
reveal.
is like,
But-
cover your eyes, children.
there's so many, like, sexual innuendos throughout this whole movie that it's just funny that, like, her titty. That she just brought her whole 8th grade class to see it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Kills
love
me.
that her mom was, like, super
There
cool.
for the
Like,
whole
she,
thing.
when she was asked to do the role, like, she was like, sure. Like, she was there. Like, she was, like, while they were shooting, her mom was, like, around, like, the entire time. And I think it's pretty cool that her mom, like, let her be this role, like,
Yeah,
in this movie,
absolutely.
which is pretty fucking sweet.
Yeah, because honestly, like, I mean, the whole movie does deal with a lot of subject matter that now is something that, you know, we talk about freely, but, like, a lot of stuff about, like, transgender, homosexuality, like, pedophilia, all those, like, kind of things were big taboos back then. And
incest.
so for her, incest, too, for her mom to, like, be totally cool with allowing her to do that, I think it was a great decision. Like, it's obvious that Felissa was really deeply impacted by this movie and how, like, it just affected her. Like, when I watched the little documentary, it was on YouTube, I guess it might have been one of the special features. She was crying at the end. She was like, it was like the best 5 weeks of my life, and I just didn't want it to end. And like,
it's true though, it really
would have
affected...
been like a summer camp fucking vibe there, because the director really wanted kids to play kids. He didn't want, like, 20 and 30-year-olds to play kids.
Which
like,
is
a lot
of horror movies. It's like adults are playing teenagers.
Yeah, like, how old was Felissa here? Like, she was like 13?
She was only 13.
Yeah, so, I mean, and all these kids are quite obviously around that same age, too.
Yeah.
So it would be a really impactful experience for all of them, and I'm glad that it was a good one, right? Like, if it was, like, shitty and, like, weird, then that would really suck, but, like, she was really emotional about it.
And like, I love how, like, into she is with, like, meeting fans and, like, hanging out with fans. Like, she rules.
She's the coolest.
Like,
so nice.
She's been to London, she's been to Shockstock a couple times, and we've partied with her, we've hung out with her. She is so rad. She's so chill. Like, she brings, like, an energy with her, which obviously helps with the roles that she does. She does a lot of B movies these days, and, like, it's just she definitely brings, like, that kind of like, energized, like, atmosphere to, like, every role, like, and she's just so, like, cool with everything. Like, she'll be like, yeah, I'll have a dick, yeah, no big deal, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, she's like, let's fucking party.
She's not bitter about having worked and been part of conventions ourselves. We've met and come to cross, like, our paths have crossed with a lot of celebs who are, you can see on their face that they're bitter about being there.
And they're, like, not having a good time.
That they're like, I'm just gonna sign these fucking autographs, make my and she's
always having a good time.
Like that.
Yeah, she's super personable.
She comes to the after parties, like, she's always, like, having a good time, like, no matter what. Like, even if you just, like, Google pictures of her, like, I love, like, the ones of her just, like, giving the middle finger, like, fuck you, I'm partying. Yeah, she's awesome.
rad.
Well, she was supposed to be at Shockstock this year, but she couldn't make it because she was shooting that movie with Carolyn Williams from Texas Chainsaw Part 2.
Which is, like, all that's on my Instagram feed.
Dude,
right
I know. It looks like super fun. But she'll probably come back next year. But she has over, like, 90 film credits. Like we mentioned earlier, like, she was only 13 when she did Sleepaway Camp, and she's married to the singer of CKY, which is
adorable.
They have 2 daughters and a son, and adorable. They were actually both in a movie together.
Oh, stop.
Yeah, it's called Caesar and Otto's Summer Camp Massacre. Aww. And she has his name tattooed on her ring finger.
Aww.
I love that. It's adorable. So after Sleepaway Camp, she took a break from acting to finish school. And then she went to acting school with Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And they did a short comedy together for MTV called Party Phone Series.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I know. I never saw it, but I do want to look it up. But she's also done a lot of off-Broadway productions. But I thought that was kind of cool that she went to school with Adam Sandler, which is kind of interesting because Jonathan Tiersten, who plays Ricky, he went to fucking acting school with Molly Shannon.
Yeah.
What? Some SNL connection?
I know.
Okay, I can't get over it. I'm sorry. Like,
Ronnie?
I know.
Fucking Ronnie.
Like, every single outfit that he's wearing, like, his pecs are just, like, busting out and his fucking bulge is
He's
just
always
there.
so concerned. Like, look at the look on his face.
I know. What a
like,
nice
he's
human.
So concerned.
He cares
His muscles
so
are
much.
concerned.
They're like, what's going on, guys? I hope everything's okay. I was gonna say, I really enjoyed reading about how these kids got to have their childhood through this movie. Like, there was drama because Felissa and Jonathan were dating, and then they were
they had a
fighting.
crush on each other. Yeah.
Well, they dated, like, they were a couple, and then he started flirting with other girls.
Because, like, she was like, oh, well, like, she thought maybe that she was, like, a little too young, and the girl that he was, like, a few years older than her, right? So, like, the girl that he started to kind of see after her, like, on the set was, like, had, like, big boobs and, like, was, like, more, like, developed, and she was just, like, kind of weird about it all. But, like, yeah, it's like they had, like, their own little, like, high school, like, microcosm.
From what
Yeah.
I read, all the like directors and producers and all the adults involved with the making of the film weren't like these fucking kids, like so annoying. They were literally like, are you kids having problems? Let's figure this out. Like they were like understanding that they're working with preteens, and instead of telling them to grow the fuck up, they were like, this is a point of their life where they're going to be doing these things.
And
so
which is like, and adds to the good experience
Yeah,
that she had
yeah.
while making this movie.
And like you can really tell that they all got to be kids. Oh, whoa.
Oh, I know! Okay, so the part where like Paul takes Angela to the beach and he's like, oh, I got something to show you. And they kiss and she trips him and then like runs.
She used that wicked move. I'm gonna try
I
that.
know, yeah, that's a good move. I'm totally gonna fucking
Yeah.
try that next time. Well, Jonathan Tiersten, I love. Ricky is actually one of my favorite characters in this movie. He's got such a foul mouth. Like,
Yeah,
it's
he
amazing.
swears
He's like,
so fucking much.
like, he's like, eat shit and die.
Yeah, eat shit and live.
And, yeah, like, he's such a fucking dick. Like, he's just like, fuck you, you fucking fuck.
But he's
Like,
so loyal.
and I love it. Like,
my
for his audition, Robert just asked him to cuss him out.
Yeah.
And he's like, are you sure? And he was like, yeah, just cuss me out. I wish that was online.
Yeah.
Because I'd like
His
to see that.
audition tape
'Cause
would have
his,
been
like,
phenomenal.
Even like the scene earlier when they were at the dance, like before that fight starts, like he just like he doesn't even just gets into it. He just throws punches and he's like, fuck you! And like just starts throwing punches and it's like people like
for
guys,
family,
like,
which makes me want to
jumping
just
all over
die
each other. I know,
with
I love
love.
Ricky. He's hilarious. So he's a singer. He's also a guitar teacher, and he's written music for movies, and he's also in Return to Sleepaway Camp. Something kind of funny, they misspelled his last name in the opening credits of Sleepaway Camp. So yeah, after him and Felissa, they kind of dated a little bit on and off during the filming of this movie, and then they broke up after it was out. And his hands are the hands that are used for any of the murder scenes, because Robert wanted like people to think that it was a boy killer.
Of course.
So the scenes where he's like pulling on the step stool of like the Diddler chef, everything like the Diddler chef and like the beehive and everything, like those were all Ricky's hands, just to obviously like confuse the audience. And even like there's like a scene where one of the girls gets killed in the shower and like you see his back and he's wearing a wig.
Yeah, it's
so
bad.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know.
So
Yeah.
bad.
But yeah, pretty crazy that he went to acting school with Molly Shannon and how like Felissa went to acting school with Adam Sandler. That's pretty crazy. But after he moved from New York to Colorado, he opened a venue / like bar called the Mountain Tap Tavern, but then he sold it to pursue his music career. And like I think his music, I looked it up and it's kind of like what's that Dave something band?
Dave Matthews Band?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's like
I can see
it's got
that.
that like hippie like kind of acoustic vibe stuff, but I love that he also came back for Return to Sleepaway Camp as well.
He did some shit though. I was looking into something that he was like super accredited for, and it was called The Perfect House. It was called The Perfect House. He starred, and it's a anthology, a horror anthology with
I like
Felissa
anthologies.
in it
Oh,
as well.
awesome.
And he won 3 Best Actor awards for it.
Oh.
Yeah, so he was still in acting. It's just like, how have we not heard of this anthology, The Perfect House?
What
What
year?
year?
2012.
Cool.
Interesting.
I'd check it
I'll have
out.
to look that.
And it
look
won
into
awards,
that.
so
I do
like,
I love
let's
anthologies.
check that out, yeah.
That's awesome.
And I mean, he was pretty cute to watch him in the interviews and stuff.
Oh yeah, he
he's
was adorable.
He's
Yeah.
adorable.
Cute.
Super adorable.
Yeah, definitely.
Which one's fucking Peter? Is that no? Obviously,
Which
that's not
one's?
Peter.
I want to know which one's Mike.
Because Peter is Mike Sorrentino's brother from Jersey Shore, and I'm obsessed with Jersey
Oh.
Shore, and I need to know which one of these guys is
I don't know.
is a Sorrentino.
Peter is the little boy in the flashback.
Oh, okay.
So this guy's related to a
He's
Jersey
his older
Shore
brother.
guy?
Yeah, his older brher.
That is hilarious.
That is so
Oh
fucking
my
weird. What
fucking
is he
God.
look like now?
I know, right?
Oh, he's a
fucking
Guido.
gaudy-
He's got like a little Guido.
Oh,
like a little
the
Guido
gaudy
thing
boy
going on.
blowout.
There's no blowout happening though.
No?
No.
And Mike is the blonde kind of like
Okay.
guy with the button-up shirt who also kind of He looks like every character on the cover of like a teen horror novel from the 90s, like Christopher Pike, like Fear Street.
Totally.
That's what this guy
like,
fucking looks
kind
like.
of a heartthrob. But anyways, okay, so Mike, his name's Thomas Vandell, and I found him insanely interesting, even though he doesn't.
I thought you were going to say insanely hot.
No, insanely interesting. He doesn't have a big role in this movie, but he's actually the vice president of Universal Motown International. He like signed like 98 Degrees, Brian McKnight, Boyz II Men, Erykah Badu, Nelly, Godsmack, Three Doors Down, No Doubt, In Excess. He had a hand in all of these people's careers.
That's crazy that you actually just said Boyz II Men because they're playing London tomorrow night.
I know, right? Isn't that fucking mental? But yeah, so he was
What is that?
a huge like music industry mogul. He worked for he did like licensing for like 63 countries. He also is a part of he's the COO of Radar Pictures. And they're an independent film studio. And they did, like, The Last Samurai, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like, the newer one, Revenge of the Nerds, 12, Cocktail, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, Three Men and a Baby. So he was, the head of the production company for all those movies, all during the 80s and 90s.
Hand That Rocks the Cradle.
Yeah.
Another movie I won't watch again.
No,
I remember
really?
watching
Why?
it when I was a kid. I watched it as a kid, but I don't really... like, that's The Babysitter.
Yeah. Fucked up. She's breastfeeding their kid and shit.
Yeah.
She wants them to be like, no.
That movie is fucked up. I remember
Ricky
it.
topless with
Is
just
that
short
Rebecca
shorts?
De Mornay?
Yep.
Is that,
Yep, Rebecca
That
De
bitch has a
Mornay.
freaky face. She's
Well, that
scary
movie,
looking.
I don't remember it, but it just makes me think of The Guardian.
Yes.
See, that is a great fucking horror movie that involves a babysitter, tree people,
That's a fucked
eating
up
babies.
movie.
Is that
But in a
also-
whole different way. I can watch The Guardian
Yeah.
because it's so fantastical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But this one where this bitch is putting someone else's kid on her tit,
That shit's fucked up.
that is some fucked
That
up
shit's
shit.
fucked up. Also, Judy looks fucking bomb in a bikini.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Like,
look at her fucking abs.
She's got like a six-pack. She probably was running back then, too.
Here's what I'm confused about. Who are the camp counselors? Is she a counselor who's being such a cunt, or is she another camp resident?
No, she's like one of the residents.
Okay,
like,
because she to me is presented as more of like a 17-year-old than a 13-year-old.
Yeah, and I think she is.
She's
She's
supposed
just one
to
of
be.
the older
She's
campers.
one of the-
she's one of the older girls because
Okay.
remember at the beginning, like they're like, well, she hit puberty and she's got huge, like, you know, C cups now, so like she's one of the older girls.
So
but,
she's not supposed to look 13.
No,
no,
she's supposed to be
like
that
a little
age.
bit more mature than the other girls because she's like she got all sexy after last summer.
Yeah, but it seems
Oh,
like
she's been here
she's
before.
they intimate that like the same people keep going to the camp over and over again.
I'm sorry, just like that part where Mel, like, has Ricky, he's like holding onto Ricky's arms. He's like, "You're the killer, I know it's you." Like, he's just like struggling. Like, no one else is noticing this old man.
Right? Like,
attacking
assaulting him.
Oh,
Hero!
Ronnie,
Our hero!
Ronnie's here to save
Ronnie
the
to
day.
the rescue.
Ronnie to the rescue. Run, Ronnie, run.
Ronnie can rescue me any day.
Well, okay, so Judy's friend, Meg, her name is Catherine Cammie, and she's also been in a lot of TV as well. She was in All My Children, Dragnet, NYPD Blue, Young and the Restless, Bones, Law and Order, Castle. Like, she's been in like
Castle,
Castle
all
with
these businesses.
fucking Nathan Fillion.
Yeah.
Canadian gem. But yeah, no, that girl that plays Meg, she's got tons of credits. Like, she's still doing like tons of TV. She's doing very well.
Yeah,
And
she
looks
actually had-
great. She looks great now. Her IMDb picture, like, pretty good.
Yeah, she's had probably more. Well, I wouldn't say more credits than most, but like she has like a considerable amount of like work that's like been continuous.
Yeah.
Look at how tight those sweatpants are on our
Oh,
man.
Ronnie's
His booty.
I love that, like, his shoes, pants, and jacket are all like orange.
Oh, yeah, he looks great.
By the way, if anybody wants a Camp Airwalk shirt, you can actually get them online through, I believe, Terror Threads. So Terror Threads have like official like Sleepaway Camp shirts that I've seen a picture of Felissa like signing one of them before, and they have dresses too, which is pretty fucking sweet.
Oh.
They have like Sleepaway Camp dresses. And speaking of merch, there's also Forever Midnight Podcast. They made that fucking light switch plate. Have you guys
Oh,
seen
the
that?
penis!
Yeah,
Oh,
like
yes.
switches like her dick. Like that
Yes.
is amazing to
Yeah.
me that they made that. They're sold out right now. Like I checked recently, so I was like, I should get one.
Yeah.
It's
my
like
God.
designed by one of the guys on the podcast. I think his name is Jeff. And he designed it. And you know what I love about the name Jeff? You know what always makes me think of Wayne's World 2 when he meets Tia Carrere's dad and they're speaking.
And his name
And
is
like,
Jeff.
but he's just like, it's subtitled, and he asks him to call him. He's like, just call me Jeff, and he's like, oh, bindo binya mabu nah.
Jeff?
Jeff.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
I love that scene. But yeah, there's a lot of really cool, like even if you go to sleepawaycampfilms.com, the sequels of Sleepaway Camp, the camp is called Rolling Hills. You can get the Rolling Hills shirt from that website, which is pretty cool. Okay. The part where Meg is in the shower, every time I watch this, okay, you know how there's like absurd commercials, like shampoo commercials where they're like lathering their bodies and like smiling like no one fucking
Zest?
showers like that, and it's like,
I'll
yes,
sing
that's
you a few
absurd.
if you want.
Oh, okay.
Sure you will.
This part is like just completely ridiculous. Like the way that she's singing in the shower, it's like the worst humming. It's because she knows she's getting that old dick.
Yeah, like, okay, so let's talk about that for a second.
Talk about what?
The old dick.
Oh,
She's getting ready to
she's
go on
banging
a
Mel.
date
Yeah.
with the fucking
owner.
He's like 70.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That's weird, and like these girls are supposed to be like 16, 17 years old.
That's
There's
where
something
like the
a little bit
pedophilia
creepy
comes
about
back
it.
into it.
But she's
She's
into it.
But you know what though? Some daddy issues. Some women like a man in power, and he runs. He runs. This camp.
He's got some legit power. He runs Camp Arawak.
Yeah.
That is a man of power.
Yeah.
He's like
Yes.
he's somebody's like gold
Yes.
chain cigar chomping fucking grandpa. I would probably, if I had to pick anyone, it would probably be Ronnie.
Oh, obviously, Ronnie.
No, you know
I
who
would
I'd
love
pick?
to squish his pecs with my hands.
You know who I'd bone in this movie? I don't know his name, but he was the guy with the short shorts that had no shirt on. He just has like brown hair. He's one of the the older guys, but he
Right.
I'd bone him.
I'd bone under booby shirt too.
Oh yeah.
Oh well, you
I
know
love man
that
hair.
goes without
I
saying.
love
Yeah.
man
The crop
hair.
top man?
Yeah.
That goes without saying. That goes
Obviously.
without saying.
Oh
Yeah.
and
You wouldn't even have to do much to take that shirt off. You'd just be like,
Yeah, I
Done.
keep that shit
Like,
on.
just
leave it on.
If he was if we were like getting it on and he was about to take off his crop top, I'd be like, no, leave it on. Leave on the crop top.
Oh my fucking god. So
I'd
good.
probably bang the penis guy too. Hey, random college student.
right?
Oh, right. Like you mean the penis.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
the stunt penis.
Yeah,
The stunt
The
penis.
stunt penis in
And-
this movie.
Like the best thing I read about that, or actually I didn't read it, I saw it in one of the documentaries, was, and I quote, that the college guy was crying horribly.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
crying getting ready for this, which is so funny because I feel like in our group of friends or in group of friends that I've known throughout the years, if someone were to say, can we show your dick in this movie? You know how many of my friends will literally be like, yeah, like wagging it from side to side,
like helicopter,
that
everything.
shit. Like I know a ton of dudes who would want nothing more than to get their dick in a movie.
Yeah.
He was wearing a girl's mask though.
We don't know
Maybe
who
that
this man is.
No, I know, and
Yeah.
I find that
Yeah.
to be so
a
interesting.
child girl's mask.
Yeah.
Like she was a child
Yeah.
too.
So there's someone out there, mystery man, his dick is forever glorified in Sleepaway Camp. He's uncredited, nobody knows who he is, other than the fact that he was crying horribly and had to get really drunk to do it, and then apparently you can see him taking his clothes off in the background in one of the scenes just
Yeah, I
before.
heard about that. Yeah. Well, they talked about using a strap on for her, but her mom said no
Yeah,
to that.
I
Her
would.
mom
If I was a mother, that would be fucking
way.
weird, yeah.
But yeah, so he just basically is wearing a cast mask of Felicia's face. And there's like, if you Google it, there's like pictures of her like next to the mold.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't know how they did that scene for like the longest time. Like I was like, I just figured that they somehow, I don't know, use some kind of editing tools like back then. Like,
but
I
now when
didn't
you see
realize
it looks so fake.
You can tell.
face
But
so
I will say
fake.
that at least the cover of darkness in the movie and the shadows and stuff kind of helped to like cover up the fact that how obvious. If it was complete daylight, you'd be like, ooh, that's really bad.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Just a little moonlight. Yeah. And I think that I mean, again, like I've heard interviews of her talking about getting that cast done. Mm-hmm. And I can't imagine ever getting a cast done of my face.
Oh my god, I would have claustrophobia so fucking bad.
And
I could
especially
not do that.
because your mouth is open. Like, her mouth is gaping, and so it must have been just full of plaster, or it was acrylic. It was dental acrylic. It must have just been full. Like, I can't even...
The worst shit ever.
And she was a kid, right? And so, like she said, though, she's like, it was a good thing I was that age when they asked me to do it, because I was young and I was just, like, up for anything. Yep. She's like, now I'd be like, go fuck yourself, it's not happening. Totally. Like, you are not putting that shit on my face. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the sequels. Okay, so, I really like Sleepaway Camp 2, Unhappy Campers. I dig it. It came out in 1988, directed by Michael A. Simpson, and Felissa was asked to be Angela, but she turned it down because of school. So she got into a program at university that's a really, really hard school to get into, and then they asked her after she got in, and then she contacted the school, and they were like, can I take a year and then do this movie and then come back? And they were like, we can't guarantee that you'll get in.
Interesting, because I read that too, but then I heard an interview with her and her saying, I auditioned and I knew it wasn't right for me.
Oh.
So I've heard a lot of different stories, because she, like, an interview with her, she said, she's like, it was funny, and I wasn't playing a funny role in the first one, and the second one kind of had this dark humor behind it. The sequels are like,
they're humorous.
Yeah, and she's like, so I knew reading the part that it wasn't something that my heart was in as much as
P.S. Sorry, is that a Loverboy fucking...
It sure fucking is!
Why have I never fucking noticed that? Sorry to cut you off,
Megan.
It's
like neon red, too.
What the fuck? I can't believe I've never noticed that. There is a fucking picture of Loverboy in the bathroom stall in Sleepaway Camp.
That is so weird.
And we're seeing Loverboy next week.
I know. What's
Oh, you guys are going.
Yeah.
You're coming too.
Oh, all right, let's do it.
Oh my god, sorry. So continue.
That was it. No, that was it. Yeah. So it was just like, because I read that too, that she had gotten into school and stuff, but then I just don't think it was meant to be.
Well, Pamela Springsteen, fucking Bruce Springsteen's sister, the boss.
They don't even look. They don't even look.
They really
the same
don't.
At all.
No, they don't look alike at all. And she did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
I like the second one out of all the sequels. The second one is the one that I like more out of all of them. And well, fun little fact about Pamela Springsteen, she's a photographer. She actually did some of Bruce's album covers. She was also in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And she was briefly engaged to Sean Penn. I'm assuming after they met from probably Ridgemont
when he
High.
was smoking hot.
I love that movie. He's such a stoner in that movie. He's like the Matthew McConaughey from Dazed and Confused, but more like extreme. Like they pushed that
like
role.
surfer,
Oh,
like way more surfer. Yeah.
Oh, what's that surfer guy interview? He's like,
oh my god! And then it was like this, and then
it was like but yeah, well, the second one also has Renee Estevez, Emilio Estevez, and Charlie Sheen's sister.
Yes.
And which is funny because I've seen the second one a few times and I didn't realize that was her. Because she doesn't really look like them, I don't think.
No, she looks more like Emilio.
She looks more like Emilio than Charlie.
She looks like Charlie, yeah.
But I was like, whoa, that's crazy. I didn't realize that. But she was also in Heathers, and I gotta say, I think I'm one of the only people on this planet that can't stand that movie.
Never seen it.
Heathers with Winona Ryder
you
and
know
Christian
what?
Slater. I can't stand that fucking movie. I think it's retarded.
Don't think I've seen it. Well, I may have seen it once.
But it was
unremarkable.
I watched it once, like in the 90s, and then I tried to rewatch it like 4 years ago, and I shut it off. I was like, this is so boring. I'm sorry. I don't like that movie. But she was also in Intruder, which is a movie that is on my list that I've never fucking seen. It's one of those like slasher flicks that's like goes down in history as like one of the greatest slasher flicks. She was also in Single White Female.
Right.
Ooh,
that's a good
yeah.
one. That's
and Deadfall with our one true god, Nicolas Cage.
Fucking retard, man! Fucking retard!
That, okay, Nicolas Cage, if anyone has listened to this podcast before or follow us on Instagram, you know that we fucking love Nick Cage. And most of Nick Caginess comes out in Deadfall and Vampire's Kiss. Those are like the two movies
where
where
they
like,
just like allow him to freak out.
Most of his like caginess like rages in those two movies. Like we still have to finish Deadfall. Like I haven't seen the end of Deadfall, but that movie is just insane when he's like on the bed
and he's like fucking having a freak out,
fucking like freaking out on the bed, like jumping up and down. Like, oh my god, his character in Deadfall is just brilliant.
You can go on YouTube and like get the compilation of like the best of his like
and
moments.
It's like 80% is from Deadfall and Vampire's Kiss.
Yeah, it's just him
and
like
Wicker Man.
Hey,
I was gonna say Wicker Man too.
I love it.
Fuck. He's so fucking crazy.
But yeah, I really like the second Sleepaway Camp. I mean, it's definitely like, the first Sleepaway Camp is like meant to be like kind of serious and eerie, spooky, scary, and the sequels are very comical, definitely. And the third one, Teenage Wasteland, was it came out a year after in 1989, also directed by Michael A. Simpson, and he named it Teenage Wasteland because of The Who, because he loved Bubba O'Reilly, and also has Pamela Springsteen in it. The third one, oh my god, I just can't get over Angela's hair. Her hair looks like a fucking dried up mop. Like it looks awful. What? It looks so bad. And she basically she wants to go back to the camp, and she like kills a counselor like in New York City and like takes her identity. And then, so that's how she sneaks into the camp. The girl at the beginning of the movie, though, there's one part where she takes her shirt off and you can see her tits. And her tits are tattooed. One tit says milk and the other one says shake.
No!
I thought that was pretty fabulous.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. There is one scene in the third one, though, that's like racist. They use the N-word. It's not good. Did you guys watch the sequel?
No,
I watched the second one.
I watched
Return.
number 2.
Okay, well, the third one, there's like one scene that's like fucking racist as fuck.
Yeah, but was it supposed to be racist? Is it supposed to portray a racist character?
Yeah. There's like a scene where they're like, there's the counselors and they're like training, and there's like the boss of the counselors, which is like this like obese woman, and then like a black guy and one of the other female white counselors, like they just start fighting, and she says the N-word, and it's so bad. Oh yeah, it's bad. And then like the boss of whatever, like of the counselors, like separates them, and then they go their separate ways, and then she tries to be all like, it's okay, everything's fine. Let's just gather around the campfire.
That's typically how racists deal with
Yeah.
their shit.
Yeah, I was like, oh, but there's one scene in part 3 though that I gotta talk about. You guys obviously, like when you watch horror movies as a kid, you know how there's always like scenes in horror movies that always stuck with you for life. One of them was for me from Tales from the Crypt, the TV show, when the one where actually that babe from Lost Boys is in it. They hollow out the trees and stick people in them. And James Bryan is in that one too. And they use chainsaws and cut them. And another scene that I watched when I was like probably like fucking like 7 or 8 years old, there was a lawnmower scene in part 3. So they bury a person in the ground, but only up to their neck. So only their
and then
heads.
they lawnmower their heads.
That's from fucking Sleepaway Camp 3.
Oh my god, that's iconic. I didn't know where that was from.
I know. And it's funny because like I have the box set, but I watched part 2 more than I watched part 3 because I like part 2 more. But then as I was doing research for this, I was like, hey, I should rewatch the third one, and I rewatched it, and I was like, oh my god, I totally forgot about the lawnmower scene. And that shit fucked me up when I was a kid. I was like, wow, I totally forgot about that.
That is so interesting, and
that scene is awesome. It's so fucking awesome.
And that for some reason triggers me into, I don't know if you guys ever saw Hobo with a Shotgun. It was great.
Yeah, it was fun.
When they put their heads in the sewer caps and then and then rip their
Isn't
heads
that Ricky
off.
from
Ricky
Trailer
from
Park
Trailer
Boys?
Park Boys.
Yeah.
And then it also reminds me of Motel Hell, where they have like the heads in the garden. And
oh man,
like
I don't
humans.
remember.
Oh yeah, I know you say that all the fucking time. You know what I know? Something?
I gotta rewatch Motel Hell. I've only seen it once.
I see your Instagram stories. I know you've rewatched Fright Night 100 times.
Yes.
One of those times, replace it with Motel Hell for fuck's sake.
I can't get enough of that sweater.
God damn it. So here's a funny trivia that I wanted to just bring up before I forget. that Weird Al used this movie as an inspiration for the song Nature Trail to Hell. This and Friday the 13th Part 3 were an inspiration for that song, and he comments in the song, one of the lyrics is about a surprise penis.
Oh!
Yeah. Weird Al.
He gives it
Weird
away.
Al's a fan. Weird
That's
Al's
awesome.
a fan.
Dude, I
of
fucking
this
love
movie.
Weird Al. We saw Weird Al in concert.
That was
fucking
so much
amazing.
fun.
Too.
He
That was
rules.
so much fun.
I love Weird Al. Like, puts on such a fucking good show. You know what I love about him? Have you guys seen that GIF online where he's like sitting in front of a paper shredder and he shreds paper, and then the camera pans out and he stands up and like asks for applause by like thousands of people like at a show because he's like shredding. And then the crowd just fucking goes crazy. He's like literally sitting on a fucking stage on a chair and puts paper in a shredder and stands up and everyone fucking applauds. It's
That
amazing.
is fucking. I've never seen that, but that
Oh
sounds
fuck, it's
fucking
pretty funny.
amazing.
Well, I think Morgan should talk about part 4.
Yeah,
The Survivor.
Okay, well,
I was seriously convinced that this movie wasn't real.
no, I know because we tried
Part
to
4?
find it. Yeah, part 4.
It's called The Survivor.
It apparently exists, though. It was incomplete for many years because it was shut down during the 1992 production because I think the production company
They
went bankrupt.
Yeah.
It was completed, though, in 2012 by mixing the original footage with archive footage from the previous 3 films, and then it was given its own DVD release, which I could not fucking find.
Dude, I couldn't find shit on this movie. Like, I was even trying to, like, stream it. Like, I was, like, looked it up. I'm like, watch Sleepaway Camp 4, The Survivor, online. And, like, one came up, but it was, like, zoomed in.
Yeah.
And, like, I was like, I can't.
Oh,
but then I
that's
started,
hard.
and I was like, I'm going to try. But it was just
I remember you
flashbacks. It was
texting
just
me, Yaz, and
scenes.
being like, I don't know if this is actually the movie.
Like, I was like, this
You
can't
were
be
like,
a real
I
movie.
don't
Like, it's
know.
just scenes from the other ones. Like,
Yeah,
part 1 and 2
it's
and 3.
mostly. So apparently they started filming in October of 1992 at Camp Tamarack in Oakland, New Jersey. So Double Helix Films was the production company. They did go bankrupt around that time, so the production shut down, and they only filmed about half an hour of footage before everything like got shut down. So then in 2002, the footage from the first day of shooting was released as an exclusive 4th disc for the Best Buy Red Cross edition of the Sleepaway Camp Survival Kit DVD box set. So in the original DVD box set, there is...
Sorry, there's a penis on the TV.
I know.
Penis!
It's the best thing because she decapitated someone who she cared about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sad.
And just showed her dick, because why not?
Because why? And just showed her dick.
Like,
'cause
that's
why not?
upsetting. I've seen this ending probably easily, just the ending itself, probably 25 times. And still,
Yeah, she didn't deserve that.
It makes me upset. Because her face, they chose the perfect face. It is a scary...
Well, wasn't
That
it like
upset me. That's
for her
scary.
audition, he asked her to like pretend like she was like eating a candy bar, but like in a psychotic manner. With
Yeah,
her
well, it's
eyes
from the
wide
one
open or
scene
something.
that she's
Where
sitting
she's
there
sitting
eating
on
this
the-
chocolate bar, and she's just like got like a vacant
Yeah.
stare or whatever. I'd like to actually rewind and just take a look at that dick one more
I know,
time.
I want... I just...
Oh,
like, when they
man.
stand up and she's got blood... She's got blood and she's got the... It's like... That gave me butterflies in my stomach.
Yeah.
What an iconic... Ugh. Sorry, Morgan.
No, it's okay. Anyway, so number 4, The Survivor, it really isn't a fucking movie.
No.
It's fucking ridiculous. I didn't see the completed product.
Like it has
but-
a cover.
Yeah.
With a girl on
Yeah.
it. Like
And it's the girl that's in the movie, too. So, online, on YouTube, you can find the 34 minutes of completed footage. And I literally sat and watched all 34 minutes on YouTube, and I was like, I have no idea how the fuck you could have made anything out of that. Literally, it was the girl running through the woods.
Yeah.
A bunch. She's at the beginning, she's like laying on the dock, trees in the background or whatever. And there's like a sheriff guy who like, it seems like she's with him. But then there's scenes where she's running from him. And then there's a scene where she has a gun and she's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Oh, so that was my next question. Is there a script?
No. Literally, there is like nothing that you could piece together from what this footage is.
I think it's
zero.
hilarious.
Most of it, 80% of it, is just her going, take one in the woods,
a victim
running.
or a murderer?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's the girl that's on the cover that they put out.
That brunette girl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I assume, but it's called The Survivor, so from what I gathered,
She's the survivor from part 2 and 3,
yes,
I think.
yeah.
That's like what she's supposed to be.
Yeah, so, but I don't know if she apparently, okay, so it was something like she had amnesia and her psychiatrist was like, go back and figure out remember who you are by going back to the camp.
Yeah.
And
they
only filmed
that.
like...
So it's basically like Friday 13th part 7.
Yeah. But
I was just going to say, that sounds awfully familiar.
Yeah.
They could not have fucking made anything out of it.
I think it's hilarious that you watched that one, but you didn't watch like
I
2
and 3.
I know.
Well,
what I don't get
pressed
is
for time.
If it's so basic and so incomplete, how does it even have a name? Like, was it released?
Well, no. So the 30 minutes of footage, the raw footage, is available. You can just get it on YouTube and you can just watch every single like take of all the bullshit that they did. But then they repackaged it and took that 30 minutes of footage and cut it with scenes from the first, second, and third movies to try to make a story about why this girl was running from no one in the woods.
Okay.
And so literally, of the 30 minutes that they filmed, there's like probably like 10 minutes in the actual movie, and the rest of it is just scenes from the other movies.
Well, apparently,
so it makes no sense.
It's on a 4th disc on the Survival Kit box set, which was just a Best Buy exclusive.
Yes.
But that one and the one with the Red Cross are both out of print. But you want to hear something hilarious about Part 4, though? Did you read this? It's produced by Krishna Shah, the fucking director of Hard Rock Zombies.
No.
Whoa!
Yeah!
But this is again where I'm confused. How is there a producer? Like, how...
Right?
Was it organized or was it not an organized
film?
film?
It was organized, but the production company went bankrupt, so it cut... Like, they filmed half an hour, and then...
He was like, I'm going to step aside and go do
it.
Hard Rock Zombies, the greatest movie ever.
Yeah, totally. Totally. So it basically just ended up being
Whoa, Cassie! Well, I did some digging, and Retrosploitation, they have a store, Envy. They are releasing part 2 and 3 on VHS. 2 is the Redux and 3 is uncut. They're both already sold out of the pre-order, but they have released part 4 on VHS in the past, but it's currently sold out. So if you're looking for 2, 3, and 4 on VHS, just look up Retrosploitation. But every time they release it, it's like pre-order and it's like already sold out.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, Return to Sleepaway Camp. That was a fun movie. Like, I remember renting it when it first came out, and it was shot in 2003, but it wasn't released on DVD until 2008, because they had to apparently fix a bunch of the special effects.
Yes, they did.
But this one, as we said earlier, is also directed and written by Robert Hiltzik, and all 3 of his daughters are in the movie. Felissa
lovely.
Rose came back, Jonathan Tiersten came back, Isaac Hayes is in it.
What?
It's on YouTube. You can watch it. It's on YouTube. And this is the last movie that Isaac Hayes did before he died, which is crazy. Vincent Pastore is in it. The guy from fucking Sopranos.
Yeah.
And Carlito's Way.
Yeah.
He's like a big character in that movie as well. And it was produced by Thomas Vandell, who plays Mike in Sleepaway
And
Camp.
he's the one
And he's
who's the guy
who-
that's like the big
so
Universal
he probably
music
got
guy
Isaac
and producer.
Hayes involved
Yeah.
in it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. You're like, yeah, it was really good and it was had all the cast together. I just personally, it's one of those things where I watched it and I thought that they were an inch away from what would have been successful dark comedy. Like, the lines were so poo-poo pee-pee, like fart, like they were so over the, because it felt like they were trying so hard to be funny that, like, to me it fell flat. Like, the comedy fell flat. It was like, I'm laughing at this, but not because it's funny, because if I don't laugh, I'm gonna feel very uncomfortable.
Like, because, like, I don't know, when it comes to a lot of, like, newer independently made horror movies, like, obviously, like, I'm a bigger fan of, like, their, like, 80s and, you know, old movies and stuff like that. It was fun to watch because I'm a fan of the first one, and it's like I imagine when I'm watching it that because they got the original cast to come back, that I imagine like, well, this must have been a blast to make.
Totally,
you know what I mean?
totally.
But it's not a movie
Remove
that
yourself
I would own.
from that.
I wouldn't buy it, and I probably won't watch it again, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I did love Felicia's the last scene of Felicia when she's like, and then stares into the camera like deadpan. I thought that was pretty awesome.
Oh,
but Robert actually apparently wanted to make another one after that one, and he was going to call it Sleepaway Camp Reunion. It was supposed to be released in 2011, but it just never happened. There was talk about a reboot. Did you guys see that? There is an IMDb.
Vaguely.
There is an IMDb for a Sleepaway Camp reboot, but there has been no word about it like since 2013.
Are we surprised?
I don't think they should do that one. I don't know.
They're literally rebooting every fucking franchise.
It better take place in the 80s, and there better be some motherfucking crop tops on it.
Yeah. And they can't forget the baseball scene.
Yeah, I know. I love the, if you guys, like, seriously, like, if you haven't heard it, listen to the How Did This Get Made episode on Sleepaway Camp. It's episode number 48. We listened to it recently.
Funny.
It's, like, on the way home from VHS Fest. It's hilarious. It's so fucking funny. Like, I love that they mention that the baseball scene, like, they're all, like, super mean and cussing everybody out and being like, fuck you, motherfucker, like, eat shit and live and blah, 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 but they're all pitching underhand.
Yeah.
Hey, fuck you, motherfucker. Here's the ball. Like... I thought that was pretty funny, but that is a really good episode. Definitely one of my favorite podcasts out there. But yeah, so the movie's over. Do you guys have anything else to add?
What about summer camp movies?
Morgan, I want you to list yours, and you don't even have to come to me after then. Because summer camp movies are so, not few and far between, but they're so in the media. Like, everyone knows, I feel like, about all the ones that I'm going to say anyway.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I tried to stick to horror exclusively because I know that there's a lot of, like, Wet Hot American Summer, like,
I love that fucking
funny
movie,
kind of
though.
things.
And the show was but the movie, that movie is
I've never
amazing.
seen it, but I know it's like the epitome of everything.
When we were listening to the How Did This Get Made episode, didn't like Jason Mantzoukas, he said that he contacted Ken Marino and asked him, did you base your character off the guy from Sleepaway Camp? And he said he did. Yeah. Which is pretty fucking crazy.
That's interesting.
Yeah, the guy with the crop top in Sleepaway Camp is like, that's the character that Ken Marino like based his character in Wet Hot American Summer.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not surprising. That crop top is iconic.
I know.
Let's be honest.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
That's beautiful.
Well, I don't know. Like, I mean, everybody knows Friday the 13th. That's like the epitome of like summer camp fucking movies. And before Jason like went to fucking space and went to Manhattan, he was just hanging out at Crystal Lake, fucking stabbing campers for a few fucking movies. And it's such a huge movie that anytime that you have another, like, camp-type movie, it's like, oh, must have ripped off Friday the 13th.
Yeah, like, you automatically think, like, Jason Voorhees,
Yeah.
Well, I'm, like, partial to Friday the 13th, like, obviously, because he's, like, out of all the, like, the killers, like, he's my favorite.
Yeah.
But mainly, I think, because my parents were dicks and they never let me do anything fun when I was younger, so I never had
camp
that
is not fun.
I know you
camp
said
is
that before,
not fun.
But
Don't trick yourself into thinking it was.
I was still like obsessed with wanting to go, mainly just to get away from my parents, but also because I'd watch those movies and be like, I want to go to camp and like party and make out with boys and get killed by Jason, you know.
And get killed by Jason.
But like I was always jealous of all the other kids that got to go to camp, so like that's why like it's very I'm very partial to the Friday the 13th, like because of the fact that they take place in camps, like because I never got to go to camp.
Yeah.
So I do love those movies, like, and any slasher, any movie that like takes place in a camp, like I'm just like automatically like I wish I had that in my youth.
I wish I had Troop Beverly Hills in my youth because that's my fucking camp movie. Troop Beverly Hills about a bunch of rich kids
I've never seen it.
From the 80s. Oh, it's the best. It's the best. It's kind of like Overboard. Remember Overboard?
With Kurt Russell?
Right? It's kind of like that, where it's about like a bunch of rich bitches. But they go to a fucking kids camp, and it's all these like Beverly Hills girls, and they like bring their little poodles, and they like get manicures at camp. Like that is what I'm talking about.
Okay, I'll have to watch that.
Yeah, I've never seen that movie. But yeah, my camp experience was terrible. I remember sleeping with all my clothes on in a sleeping bag. Literally, it was like -10 degrees, like freezing. I didn't sleep the entire time, and it was a whole week. And that was the last time I went to summer camp. So, The Burning.
The Burning is great.
That is a great
See,
camp
The Burning is a movie that, when we were talking about, like, what we should do for our next episode, we were saying, like, either Sleepaway Camp or The Burning. And Sleepaway Camp is just so iconic, but The Burning is definitely up there. It's such a fucking great movie.
That's an amazing fucking
movie.
I
love it. And Morgan had never seen it before, and
Nope.
she watched it for the first time recently. And I was
did.
like, isn't it great?
It's gross.
It's awesome.
I love it.
I love it. And like
yucky.
Jason Alexander with hair.
I know,
is
what a
a
fucking-
trip.
it's so weird.
It's so weird.
So fucking weird.
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's
like,
a great movie.
I did like it, and it has like a different kind of, I guess, vibe than Sleepaway Camp and even Friday the 13th. But yeah, like I don't know, I thought it was good. I thought there were some good kills in it. I like the raft scene. I thought that was pretty cool when they all are like all chopped up on the raft and they're floating back and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought that was it was really good. Don't go into the woods. It's not really a camp movie, but they're camping.
But I agree with that though, because like they're in the woods, so it counts. And Don't Go into the Woods is fucking hilarious.
Oh my god, that movie!
Me and Morgan used to watch the shit out of that movie in high school. Have you seen it, Megan?
No.
Oh my god, we
watch
have
it.
to watch it sometime. It's so it's so
absurd.
cheesy. It's so amazing. Like the music is just like.
Oh yeah, we watch a lot of those.
Like one time, me and Morgan ate mushrooms and played that song.
We were like, let's get on the
and
keyboard
guitar.
and do
yeah,
the
I was on the keyboard and Morgan was like on my acoustic guitar. We're like playing the fucking song from Don't Go Into the Woods. Like, oh fuck, it was so funny. We're like da 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 da, and I was on the keyboards and I was like da 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 da. But yeah, no, that movie, I love that. I haven't seen that movie in years. Actually, we should definitely revisit that movie soon.
Well, I know you probably have a copy, and I just
I
bought
have
a
it on
copy
DVD.
at
VHS
VHS Fest, so I'm really, really
Yeah.
excited.
And like the first time you see the killer in the woods, like he's like, yeah,
He's like a
he's got tar like coming
He's
out
like
of
a
his
weird
fucking
savage.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's just like this savage that like this bum that lives in the woods. It's
Yeah.
amazing. I love the music, but also like the other song in the movie is like bam bam bada bam. Like it's so fucking bad. I fucking love it.
That was one of those movies that any camp movie, like the reason why we wanted to do Sleepaway Camp is because summer camp and summertime, it's just like such a nostalgic kind of feeling. Like for me, any time that I ever watched Sleepaway Camp, especially early on in my life, was like summertime,
It's a
and it was
summertime
like
movie.
sleepovers
Definitely.
and stuff like that. But like Don't Go Into the Woods was definitely a movie that we rented when we were in high school from Ambassador Video in Byron.
I know.
That was the very first time that we ever watched it, and
We laughed so hard.
we had such like it just has such nostalgia for me.
Yeah, I love that movie for sure, definitely.
The last one on my list
I
is
think I know it's because I didn't make a list, like a formal list, but I was like, well, there's just like the obvious ones that we just talked about, but there's one that is very dear to me and Morgan's heart.
Heavy Metal Summer.
Heavy Metal Summer. This is a movie that Megan, we're gonna make you watch it.
So
basically,
good.
like whenever we want to introduce a movie to like a new friend or like a new guy that we're like dating, like we're like, you are watching Heavy Metal
have to
Summer.
watch it.
Heavy Metal Summer is like one of those like found movies. It's like we just happened to come across it at Ambassador Video,
It was-
like where we
yeah.
used to live with our parents when we were in high school. And the cover is just, it's absurd. It's like, Megan, actually, why don't you just grab it?
Okay.
It's off of my shelf. It's that yellow one right next to
I
the.
see it. I see it.
It's got okay. It's basically like exactly what you would think it would be. It's called Heavy Metal Summer. It takes place at a camp, and Kim Myers is in it. Kim Myers from Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 and Hellraiser 4, and it's like about these two like heavy metalers is what they're called.
Heavy metalers.
And they hear about like a triathlon like thing that's going on at a camp, and the winner like wins like a lump sum of money, and they want to use it to get like amps and guitars and stuff. And so they go to this camp, and then there's like these other people who are also like sporty, and they want to like they each have their reasons why they're entering this like marathon so they could win the money. And then the main character is a guy who owns the camp, and his name is Truckee.
Truckee!
And his little brother
with that?
and his little brother's name is Trailer.
Truckee and
So
Trailer.
they're brothers, and their names are Truckee and Trailer, and they there's like the big corporate man who wants to come and invade the camp and sneak toxic waste into the underground,
Oh,
and this
so
and that,
fucking
and they
silly.
try to like save the camp, and it's just like it's absurd, and Ted Nugent is in it.
Whoa!
He plays
why?
like towards the end, like
Yeah.
at their like celebration kind of
Wow.
party.
And the heavy metalers, the guy with the black hair's name Rocket. No, the blonde guy's name is Rocket.
Yo, Rocket.
Yo, Rocket! And
my
like,
God.
there's like one of my favorite montages in the history of movies is a scene when Rocket is like coming out of the water in slow motion, and it's like he's supposed to be like all fit, and he's wearing this like fucking like Speedo, and he's like kind of chunky, and like he comes out and he's like supposed to be all sexy, and like it's all slow motion, and he like whips his hair back, and it's like this like fucking flab like walking out of the water, and like when it speeds up to normal speed again, he's like, you could tell he's like struggling to get in the water. It's like one of the best movies ever, and I happened to own 2 copies because I bought the one copy from Ambassador Video, and then at City Lights, this bookshop in London, they had it, and I was like, ooh, and I ended up buying it, but I ended up mailing it to lunch meat.
Yeah.
Josh, because like I posted about it, and he this is like years ago,
Yeah.
and he commented, was like, oh my god, you have 2 copies of Heavy Metal Summer, like can I have one? And I was like, yeah, sure. I don't
Did you
need
send him
to.
the Ambassador copy?
I don't know which copy.
I'm pretty sure that all the Ambassador movies were the clamshells.
they were both like cardboard.
Were they? Okay.
Yeah.
Because any of the
Well,
ones
one
that I bought
kept-
when it went out of business were all the clamshell ones.
The one that I kept has a sticker, but it has another title though. On IMDb, it's called something else.
Yes, it's called State Park.
State Park. So
Yeah.
if you guys want like the greatest, cheesiest 80s movie to watch like on a night when you're drinking with your buds, try to find Heavy Metal Summer, aka State Park. It is a riot.
And
It
there's
is
lots
so
of
much
there's
fun.
lots of short shorts and crop tops
Yeah,
in it too.
oh
if
my
that's
god.
what you're into.
And
The fashion
girl,
is great.
There's another girl in it, and she's in Scanners too, and she's Canadian as well. But yeah, this like, oh my god, this movie
I'm
is
pretty sure
very
it is a
dear to my
Canadian
heart.
movie.
Maybe.
From what I understood, I thought it was a Canadian production.
Truckee and Trailer.
Motherfucker. Oh my god. But yeah, that's great. That is a great
Yeah.
fucking summer camp movie.
Do you have anything that we didn't mention, Megan?
No, like it's not summer camp, but like I always think of Cabin Fever because it's
Yeah.
you know, like it's kind of campy.
Yeah, and it's in the
In more
woods.
ways than one.
I think that's
More
one of
ways.
Eli Roth's best movies. And I love Giuseppe Andrews' character, the cop on the bicycle. It's like a party man, a party dude. You guys partying? He's a babe.
That's another funny one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
Okay.
Sweet.
Well, I guess that's it for us. And thanks a lot for listening, as always. I hope everybody has a good night. If you're out there camping, don't get murdered by a she-male.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
What did Jerry Springer have at the end of his show? Remember when Jerry Springer had like his final thoughts?
Oh,
Oh, that's our final
And
thought.
that's our final
Our final
thought.
thought is, if men had uteruses, would they be called deuteruses? Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
When I look into your eyes, it comes as no surprise. You're slipping away.